Morning, everybody. So, Jerry.
Yep.
So, I'm not sure what to make of what you're saying about.
Let's go through it.
Uh-huh.
I'll share it with everybody. That way I can have the whole team kind of chime in on what
Okay.
these are.
Okay, let me give a background here. So, I'm looking at Sentry errors that get emailed to me every day. There's
Yep.
a list of them. They sound serious. They say fatal.
Mhm.
And so, this is what we're talking about.
Yep. Let me go and we're going to change it to the default dashboard and level. What is it called? We go to just the default. Is it gonna reset for me? Okay, so this is the default Sentry dashboard. And let's go to where error level is fatal. Okay. And these are all the fatal errors that have been reported to the app in the past 7 days. What we need to do is we need to exclude, so version, release version.
Why would we exclude from those?
We want to only include the couple newest builds, would we?
Well, no. I mean, I want to know if people are getting app crashes, because if there's some major problems with people having bad experiences, we maybe need to notify them, and tell them like your app will crash if you don't update or whatever. I don't want to only focus on our newest users that are updating, because even new users may not have updated for a few weeks and then they're in the old version.
Okay, so we have these issues here that are saying background ANR, and this is almost anything that could happen in the background. It may not even be related to our app.
Okay, well, I want to talk about that because I have a lot of problems when I put the app in the background and bring it out. Yesterday, I told Ismail that I brought the app out of the background and my chat lobby wouldn't paginate. It's not, and there's a lot of weird things that'll happen. The app's in the background long enough. I don't know what it means or why, but like, what is it telling us here?
Okay, so in ANR, it was only reported from Android. iOS has different handling for this. So anytime you see background ANR, all the time, it's going to be an Android version. And look, there's only like one occurrence of this. And okay, here's one. It looks like it goes back to maybe an OTA. It was trying to download an OTA in the background, which it shouldn't be doing.
Maybe there's an issue there. Maybe we don't have it configured properly. I don't know what the case may be, but I have a suspicion that we're churning through our user base unnecessarily, and it's just we're self-inflicting a wound by not addressing some of these issues, because people aren't going to be patient if they haven't really been hooked into our app and don't have a habit formed around it. It's very easy to drop it.
Well, we solved for that. For example, the one he's talking about, the one in the background, that one was solved in a PR or in the feature build. But so this one's like 2.05.
This one was coming from .10. Let's call that out. This says it was coming from .10.
So that's the newest one. So what is it? What does that tell you there?
What does it mean?
Yeah. What does all that mean there?
Well,
like what did the user experience? The user open the app? What is this user? Let's take a look at this user. This is 2 hours ago.
Okay. This user probably did not have any activity.
Maybe.
Let's see. Lister user 15308.
So I get these emails, every day, and they're like,
I get a lot of them too.
Yeah,
and I'm gonna be and Sentry is doing a bad job at grouping these
Mhm.
because I'm getting a lot of duplicates that are, it's turning.
These ones have different names on them for me. I can see these are different users,
I could show you my inbox too. It looks just the same.
but they're all different users. So when it says
All different users. Watch, if I go here, I go,
level fatal,
yeah, see, look, this is my inbox, right?
yeah,
It looks the same. We get a bunch of these background ANRs, and Sentry creates a new issue for it.
but they're different users.
If they are different users, but
So
it shouldn't be creating one.
so I have a user ID here 50151. What did this user experience today?
Well, hold on, let's go back to this guy here.
Okay.
This user 15308. Let's see what they did. Okay, this happened 2 hours ago. In Amplitude, I don't have any activity from them in the past 2 days.
Okay.
So this was strictly.
How do we know the user didn't attempt to open the app and it crashed on him?
I would say that would be triggered by the start session in Amplitude.
Unless it doesn't get there.
That's always a possibility.
Okay. So what does it mean when Sentry says fatal error? What does that mean? Doesn't fatal mean crash? Can it mean anything other than crash?
Well, if it happens in a background ANR, what happens is it may close the app and not give the user a message.
Could this be why often when I open the app, I see the splash screen because it crashed in the background?
That is possible. It either A, crashed in the background, or B, iOS decided to kill it, not because it was unresponsive, but because it was using a concerningly high amount of memory. Maybe this memory usage is something that is at fault for some of these background issues, because yeah, we have high memory usage. So if the OS wants to go kill apps, it's like, oh, well, this is a lot of memory I can free up. The memory usage that gets resolved from the Lottie update.
What do you mean by a Lottie update?
The Lottie file, the .lottie update, that.
Oh, you're saying once we roll that out.
That significantly decreases the memory usage in app.
Yeah, I get that.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to rule out any crashing or real serious errors that are maybe happening to.
Let me show you like a real error. We have this unexpected native type exception. This is something I worked with Wells. I think we worked on it last week. And there was some scenario where it was passing a number for an image URL.
Okay.
And this error saying, look, it has a screenshot, it has a session replay attached to it.
Mm-hmm.
And this is something that we were able to identify, reproduce, and resolve.
You're good.
In an app update. This was a fixable error.
Yeah, okay.
We get these like segmentation fault. If I go into segmentation fault, I don't know it. This is all native libraries. And looks like something happened on their, I don't know if their app opened when it crashed. This says it was handled false. It says fatal. We have a session replay. But if we go into the error stack, like this is all we have from the error stack, these hexadecimal addresses, these lower level stacks. Like I don't know what to do with this memory register.
Mm-hmm.
And
so let me see the session replay.
So it looked like an app start. And then the very last thing, I think, I don't know why it's not showing, but this user had their message lobby open, it appeared.
Look like the message lobby.
Yeah.
It crashed. How do we know if this is a crash?
I cannot tell you for sure whether or not it's a crash, but I would, if my assumption is
It
this,
said level fatal.
right? Let's look at this user in Amplitude and see what happened.
Okay. And then I just put a screenshot into development. If Amin and Ismail, well, if you guys want to take a look at if any of that makes sense to you, this is typical of what I receive multiple times a day from Sentry. Application not responding, background ANR, and then this Kotlin stuff, and then Expo modules, updates, loader, 35 additional frames were not displayed. I don't know what any of that means. I'm getting these every day. Is this something we should just ignore?
Obviously not. But like, yeah, as Jerry was saying, Century is doing that job, like grouping them. That would be easier for us to work through it.
Mhm.
Yeah, it says application not responding as a title, but like everyone, it's different. Like for example, the one you just sent, like you sent in development, like from the stack trace, I can read something has to do with Expo updates, which is what we use for over the air updates.
Mhm.
It's crashing for that reason.
Okay.
So this one is different than the other one that I was saying that I saw. Like for example, here, Jerish.
Right. Yeah. When they say level fatal, does that mean the app crashed?
Yeah, it's crashed like a pig. Like it was like no going back. It just crashed.
Okay. So, this one's happened a lot in the background.
So you get an email about it a lot. Actually, if we're going to go to what our top issue is, let me go to and platform. It's because Sentry is doing an awful job at grouping these. And
Do we care if they're grouped? Why can't we just take one and determine a whole bunch of things about the app? Like this one I'm using it. This one user. I have user ID 50151. This user. Yeah.
But do we know where the stack is in session replay?
I can tell you. Yeah, we can search by the user.
Okay, so user ID. Let's try this. What was it again?
50151.
151. Let's see what we get. Okay, here's a bunch of ANRs.
Yeah.
Maybe let's take this one. And let's see if we take Moto 5G. Let's check the stack trace. Yeah, this says Expo updates. Okay, well, first of all, let's take the latest one. Yeah, this is from 05.
Okay.
I don't know if the background fetch was resolved in 05. But right here in the stack trace, we can say, Expo updates is what I see here. But if we go to there, let's look them up in Amplitude.
Okay.
This error happened 3 hours ago, but they've never opened the app in. Last time they opened the app was February 25th. Since then, since February 25th, this user has received a lot of ANRs. So let's go to this old one, this oldest one I see here. It happened 3 days ago. And they haven't opened the app since February 25th. But what I can tell you what's still happening though is, for example, this user, if their last crash was 3 days ago, they were getting pushes delivered and confirmed on yesterday. So if the app crashes,
Go back to that.
Yeah. Oh God,
Why is that one? Why are they green except for the one you have highlighted?
Just the styling.
Okay, I just want to know if that one was opened.
No,
Like
it will say push clicked. Let me see if I can find one. No, I won't see one, but it will say an event for push clicked.
Well, just I don't know if I'm right or wrong, but so what if they got the error, like if they open the app and it crashes right away, maybe Appleton won't log that they logged in. I don't know if that's a possibility or not.
That is always, it's hard for me to prove one way or another. I'm open to that being a possibility.
We could probably test with some Androids.
Yeah, we can test.
I mean, wouldn't we see like Todd's in here in some of these logs, you know, and Sean's up?
I found Diana's parents in these logs, and actually I found them like I got the email and it said that the error happened like 10 minutes ago. And I was like, oh, perfect. And I texted them and I asked, hey, I'm just trying to collect data right now. Did you get any messages from Circles in the past 10 minutes about the app closing? They said they didn't get anything.
Okay.
That I've already proven twice with people I know.
So this is a fatal error in the background. So does that mean, I don't know what that means. Is that why the app seems to restart pretty often?
It was said it's either that, and again, I'll ask the other guys to back me up here. It's either that or the operating system is closing the app because it needs to free up memory, and it sees Circles as a high gain that if it clears out the memory, it'll continue to function right.
They seem to be concentrated around push notifications, right? Do these line up with when the push notifications were received? Let's take a look. That one.
This one 3 hours ago,
right?
And this user last got a push yesterday. This was yesterday, 3:48. So I don't see any.
Go back to that list. Okay, so it's not related to the push notification.
Correct. The only thing that I'm imagining is there is something with checking for an OTA, which we don't have an OTA out for. Do we have an OTA out for .5?
Yeah.
Well, this would have been yesterday.
Even though we're not having an OTA for it, the check will happen. You know,
I think it's fine if the check does happen, but I think if it needs to install an OTA, that's where the problem happens.
yeah, but like, is it here the stack trace saying it's trying to install or just like checking? Let me see. Yeah, it just verify. Like you see, like before, like you see the last one, like not the last one, but like the fourth. Oh, it's like says verify shot 256.
Which why would that cause? Okay, why would that cause kind of like a background fetch error, even if we're not even installing an OTA? I would understand that if we need to install an OTA in the background, that might cause an issue.
We don't install OTA in the background. Like
Exactly.
we did. Well, so if there is an OTA, it will be downloaded, and the next time when the user opens the app, it will be installed as the user opens the app. Like it's not really at the background, but as the user opens the app. So maybe here make why it's like faithful, because as the app tries to open and load in like a necessary file, which is the bundle, for some reason it fails. Let me see if there's anything related to this Expo crashing that get help.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Well, while I was looking at that, is any of this related to what we saw yesterday, Jerry, with that search result taking a really long time?
no, this would not be a background ANR.
Okay.
That's a different topic to bring up.
Okay.
That's
We'll save that then.
Yeah.
Jerry, can you send me the one with the OTA?
Yep.
Yeah.
So I have another one here, Jerry.
Uh-huh.
A device, a Moto G Play. I've seen this before on like Motorola, you know.
This is a Moto G.
Or maybe you're looking at the same one I'm looking at. Let's see.
50151.
No, different user 50405.
Oh God, that's that guy from yesterday.
Oh really? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah, it is. So he's on a Moto G, I guess. Well, I guess it's an Android, right? It's
Yeah. That's our guy from yesterday. He got one. And what he got was 6 hours ago. And let's check his sessions. 50405. His last. Oh, he was doing stuff hit. Oh God, how is he still able to send messages?
good question.
We don't have a good way of banning somebody. And I talked to Ismail about this last night when we were going through it. Like there's no I can mark a user as banned in the database, but it doesn't really do anything right now.
Okay.
I feel like we need to figure out a better way. I came up with some better ideas, but
All right, let's have that another discussion as well.
Discussion. But okay, let's go back to this. His notification. So let's see. 6 hours ago, he got a crash, and it looks like he clicked the push at 8:02:24, which that would be 2 hours ago.
Yep.
So it says he clicked the push, but I don't see where his app opened.
Okay. Well, do we have a session replay crash?
Let's go and check this. So this happened at current at 54.
And this is a brand new download, brand new build.
Well, and this comes from Expo updates.
But okay, yeah, well, like Amin is saying, it's always doing that. It doesn't matter what build you're in.
Correct.
So, and he's in the latest build. So this is an Android user in the latest build getting a crash.
Mm-hmm.
We can't have that.
It's the background ANR.
But
Now,
you can see that in Amplitude, a notification was clicked, but then where's the activity?
let's see if we can find him in a session replay, because he doesn't have a session replay with this. So I don't even see any session replays for him. Why do I not see any? Oh, that's not his phone number. That's why. Or is it his phone number? 702. Wow, he doesn't have any session replays. Maybe it's formatted different.
Maybe his Android doesn't meet the requirements for a session replay. There's not much to it.
Yeah.
That's true. He could not meet it. Moto G, let's see. Moto G Play.
It's 2024. I mean, it's not that old.
Motorola is usually like a lower end.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, that's like 32 gigabytes memory. I bet this is a very low info. Let's see.
Okay.
2023.
Oh, yeah, I saw 3 gigabytes of RAM needs 4 plus.
Yeah. Okay, let's look at another. So this has nothing to do with session replay and has nothing to do with an OTA because there aren't any OTAs on that build, yet he got a crash, right? So
The stack comes from, let's see, we're just reading from the stack. It comes from Expo updates.
so is that crashing some Androids?
What part of it? I don't know because, like I said, this is the newest build. It's the newest build, and
Also, can you,
there's no OTA.
see you, but like you see the device event, it says low memory.
Mhm. It happened 30 seconds before the crash
Yeah.
reported.
Okay.
Or no, sorry, 30 minutes before the crash was reported.
30 minutes, that's a lot.
Yeah, 26 to 54.
What does that tell you and me?
Well, it like a low, they're like between the low memory and the crash, like 30 minutes, that's a lot. Because like if there's a really low memory, and the crash will happen like after 3 seconds, 2 seconds.
Right.
Um,
Well, it's not like the user was using the app for 30 straight minutes, was it? Or maybe it was.
is
Was it the background for 30 minutes? Is it possible for an app to have a memory leak in the background?
Yeah, because it's still
Right. It's still like,
yeah, it's open. I think that's the reason why there isn't background ENR because
well, shit.
um,
Okay. So maybe we should track down memory leaks occurring for when the app is in the background. I mean, it probably is as simple as like a Lottie that's in a loop, right?
not only first like it's not because the memory leak happened because the app in the background. It's like the memory leak. It's there,
It's just happening, right? Okay.
and
Right.
now the app in the background. The system be like, this app uses
I
a lot
see.
of
It's making a lot of sense to me now why my app restarts after a while because it's building up memory, right?
Yeah, and if it's like if you're using the app, the system will not kill it only after it's really using a lot of memory. Like it's like
Right.
maxing out the memory. Then it will kill it. The app will crash. But in the background, just like for like 50%, 60% of memory, the system will kill it because it's just in the background.
Okay.
It's
So I imagine there must be a tool on the market. Maybe we haven't even heard of it, but there must be a tool that sniffs out where memory is coming from when your app is idle, right? Can't it trace it? There's got to be something that can trace it. And then we can know where to look.
Would that not be instruments? I mean,
yeah. That's
yeah, we ran into that last week.
Okay.
It would have to be something for React Native applications because using iOS's native stuff, it only gives you the native memory allocations. And for a React Native application, we're not able to read any of that. And
there's got to be by now. There's got to be something really good. Like there are many app developers all around the world, and they don't want. I'm sure that memory leaks are a high priority for them. So this has got to be a very common, standardized approach. And instruments may be old school. I don't know. Maybe there's something better. Can't we do a search?
I'm working on it.
Okay. Because I don't like when the app restarts. I don't like watching it on someone else's phone when it restarts. Like they'll open the app and I see the splash screen. And it's not, the other apps don't do that.
It says you can use Chrome DevTools to try and capture a memory heap, but none of this is like like proactive. Like none of it's proactive to where it tells you what happens, because a lot of these errors are happening before it gets into our code. That is a thing too. Is that before it gets into our JavaScript layer, there's stuff like the initialization of that native code is what could be causing the ANR.
Yeah, I'm just very confident there are tools designed to trace it and identify it. I mean, I'm even looking at the screen, it says trace ID. What's that trace ID? What is that?
Okay. This would be the session, but if we go, it just doesn't. This is what it gives us.
Okay, well, hold on. It gives us a whole bunch of stuff. What is all this?
This
Error is related to an ongoing issue. You're jumping around a lot.
let's say this just loops back to the page we were on previously.
Uh-huh. Produces about how many users this affects and more. Go to the issue below. So we have a trace tag.
Trace this just loops
down below.
Down below. You're saying where?
All that trace tags. What's all this?
This is just device name, device class, the environment, production, Java, Android. Like this means
what about that mechanism? App exit info. What's that mechanism mean?
Nothing. There's nothing I can expand right here.
But how about perhaps that is trace to that's the mechanism that caused the problem? What does app exit info mean?
This is for someone seeing it, but it seems like what I understood is like how the app was closed. Maybe this is the function that closed it. It's being like.
Do we have that function in our code base?
It's not ours. It could be like the system function, something like that. That closed the app.
Yeah, like let me go through this. Okay. What does mechanism app exit info mean in Sentry for React Native app? In Sentry, mechanism app exit info indicates the app was terminated by the operating system rather than crashing due to an unhandled exception. This is specific to Android 11 and later, where app exit info provides details on why an app was stopped. Okay. It says, can capture events where the app was killed due to reasons such as background restriction, low memory kill, ANR, native crash, excessive resource usage, how to debug, check Sentry logs for additional context, use developer options to simulate app terminations, review logcat to seek messages for termination.
Okay, so the top and bottom, the first and third one on that how to debug sound interesting. How do we look at memory pressure in Sentry logs? And then what was the bottom one was use logcat?
Yeah, well, logcat is something you need to run on an actual device or a simulator. It's not something you can go back and look.
Well, I think this happens to everybody. I mean, everybody has a memory leak and everybody's app has a background crash at some point.
Enable performance monitoring. We have this enabled. Go to Sentry, go to performance, select a transaction. So if we go to profiles and we go to maybe I can look by this trace ID. Trace. Oh, that didn't work. What would be the trace?
So, I mean, if you put logcat on your Android, would you pick up exactly these background ANR issues?
Logback is like it's gonna be like logging everything that happens on the app, regardless where it's coming from, for Android. And it's like, and it's not like related to memory. It's like logging everything that the system has to log.
Okay.
And yeah, I have to be running the app and watching and see what's going on, and maybe, and probably the log cat will be, for example, like this memory crash DNR. It will be the same that we have in the Sentry. Like when the app is gonna crash, the log cat will say same stuff that we have there in
Okay.
the
So
stack trace.
So how would you trace the memory leak?
Like that's what we're trying to see. That's what we're trying to figure out how to trace it. Like what's really causing it. Could be a lot. Could be a lot. It could be the Apollo graph QL cache. Could be something in some list that's keep building up. How to pinpoint that one exactly? It's that's that I don't know for now. Like the
Are there tools you can use?
um also like the tools, like the one that are the best are like the native tools, like that came in with the IDE. For example, Instruments by Xcode for iOS.
Mm-hmm.
But as Jerry was explaining, that's like for the whole thing. It's not like specifically it's been done for React Native. I'm not sure if there is a tool that by React Native is gonna tell you exactly where. Yeah, I know. As you were explaining, like as you were saying that it's React Native is widely used and everything, but it's not like there is a tool that's now known or okay go for those kind of issues. Just like for example, like same as right now, we're gonna be like struggling with this, figure out our own way how to identify memory leaks, and that's it. It's not gonna be.
I don't believe that we can't trace it. It seems
And we can. It's just like it's not like as easy or straightforward as you think it is. It's not like run the app, have the tool, and the tool be like, "Hey, look here. This is where you have memory. Like, go fix it."
I'm not convinced of that. I think that there is a tool.
Okay.
I feel it because like it can only be coming from a very small number of places. Like it's not, we don't have 20 memory leaks, right? So some, there's information being passed. So a tool can see where it's getting the information, right? It's information, it's data is being passed. It's so the data comes from somewhere, it has a source. So how hard could it be to know where this memory's buildup is coming from? It can't be that complicated. There's no way it could be that complicated. It's got to be like, it's almost like a math equation. Just there's no gray area. It's coming from somewhere. So where? How can we do a search of, can we find out what people are using to track these down?
I'm doing it in the background, and there's people are saying using iOS can give you a high level, using the instruments can give you a high level overview of if your app is using a lot of memory, but it doesn't exactly give you where the memory is coming from.
Mm-hmm.
And there's, let's see, another tool that they're saying is popular for debugging React Native applications is Flipper. Now, as far as memory debugging in Flipper, let's see. I don't know. Like this is their documentation.
How about the React profile? The React profile accessible through React DevTools helps analyze the memory usage of individual components and their render times. So wouldn't we know the individual component that is using memory while an app is in the background?
We don't know the component.
Well, it'll tell us.
I mean, or is this something that you're able to reproduce? Because like, I went through here, and if we do, what was it? Let's see, Expo.
Ensure proper cleanup of event listeners, subscriptions, and timers within use effect or component will unmount to prevent dangling references. Avoid creating unnecessary closures or retaining large data structures in component state for extended periods. Utilize should component update or react.memo to prevent unnecessary re-renders and reduce memory usage. Regular profiling sessions regularly can help catch memory issues before they escalate. It sounds like a lot of things here that are more than what we're discussing today, which is more like it sounds like what we're discussing today is, I don't know, there's nothing really that works, but I don't know, what about some of these things I just read?
I mean, well, like, let's go through some of them. Like, so to open up the dev tools, we have to do the. Oh, I'm not sharing my full screen. Let me go here. Present something else. Go to window, entire screen, and we're going to share here. And now we're going to go to, where is it? Oh, Sircles Mobile. Okay. And let's see. I'm going to start Expo. I said, I will link it to this iOS app. We have it loading here. And then we hit the J button, opens up the DevTools. And then if we just go in the app, let's say we'll just go through here. Yada yada. Go through here, memory. And let's take let's see, numerical values. We'll take a heap snapshot. We'll take a snapshot. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, I'm reading the same thing you're talking about here. Use the tools in heap snapshot to examine retained objects and find the cause of the leak.
Right, and I'm just going to show you the data that we're going to see from this heap snapshot.
Yeah, are you using React Native Debugger?
Yeah, this is the React Native DevTools.
Okay, because React Native Debugger uses the React Native DevTools and the Chrome.
Well, yeah, this is all part of Chrome. Like it's just a Chrome window, basically. That's tied into the JavaScript engine.
Okay.
And we're gonna still load. No, that's not anything. And it's just, this is gonna take a while. But yeah. I don't know how long this takes. I tried it and ended up giving up on it after it took a couple minutes. We have the
Also, something to just keep in mind, which can help us with the whole memory. If there's a memory leak, obviously that has to be found and fixed. But remember, Jerry, when we updated to the new Lottie library, how the memory was cut pretty much in half almost?
Yeah.
So that's also, I don't know how far away that is.
It's
But
coming soon.
if we could get that in, I feel like that would help us a lot with this.
I know it'll help. It'll lower the memory usage, but it won't.
By half, which is.
But it won't. If there's a leak, then it doesn't matter. It'll just take twice as long for there to be a crash. But it doesn't. What?
If it's Lottie related, it does fix those leaks. Then it does have a lot better memory management because it actually unloads the Lottie when you move from that screen. And I was able to kind of almost confirm that on the with the correct Lottie update.
Okay. Well, this also this one that you found does sound like it. That's its whole job is to find leaks. Like it has a leak detector called Leak Canary, which
But okay, on Flipper, but this is it. This is their page. It's just a plugin. You can see setup instructions, and you have to add more native packages in here into your Android project, and then
So Flipper is not a thing for React Native anymore. They drop support for it. So and it's
Sure.
not yeah, I'm sure about this. And what I was gonna say. So there's two things. There's like this Flipper tool. It's not a tool. It's gonna be in the app while like in like it's not gonna provide any memory or leaks while the app in like used by users. It's only like this. Same how like just trying to do. It's like a tool the developer use to reproduce that memory leak and maybe help with those kind of tools. Like because providing memory in production, it's it's difficult. I know like you say like there's a tool that's gonna tell you exactly where's that, but while the app in production, it's a different story than having the app here in a simulator or something close in a like in a controlled environment where you can see every little detail.
All right, well then, let's see what happens when we get the build with the updated Lottie library, and we're almost ready for it. I gotta get going in about 15 minutes. I gotta get to a meeting, but I just I don't like leaving all these errors as just sweeping them under the rug. I guess we'll see what happens when we get the next build, which won't solve anything for our current users unless they update.
well, okay, that's not even saying that, you know, we could fix the issue for the current users with an OTA or something like.
Maybe.
I mean, yeah, there's Pandora's box. You don't know which when you get in until you get into it. You know, it could be something that we can fix. It can be something that we can fix in a day. It could be something that takes weeks, months.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's see what happens with the next one.
Yeah, just processing, and if you want to move to the next topics, we could talk about that, like the ones we talked about yesterday.
Yeah, let's talk about that search situation. Did you get any further with that?
Other than it works fine on my device. So let me illustrate here on the network tab.
Yeah.
We're going to go to the spotlight people. All right. So on here, we got to add a debounce. So if you do this on a device, so if you go into spotlight people and you type in Kevin, it takes 3, 4, 5 seconds. I don't know if somebody else can back me up. Like John sent it to me. It works on, same thing happens on my device.
Yeah, sometimes it takes like, let's say like 20 seconds, that one screen report I sent you.
Yeah, go to your app, go to spotlight people and type in Kevin and see how long it takes.
And you were saying that every letter, when you type K, when you type E, when you type V, it completely searches everything, like a full search each letter. So obviously that's gonna slow things down.
Correct, and I'm almost thinking that it's giving like my emulator some advantage here.
Oh yeah, you're close to the source on the emulator, so obviously on a device it's different.
So if you go here for I'm really thinking the solution here is we need a debounce, and when we do this, usually when we're doing it with Expo, we might be using like a lazy query or something. We're not doing a proper Expo query, not Expo, Apollo query, that when we type a new letter value for something that's controlled by, for a query that's controlled by a state, we have to cancel the network calls for any queries we have in flight. So even though if I can type Kevin really fast, these, first four queries the network calls should be canceled. And the last one should be the only one that works. And, another thing that would work on top of this would be a debounce. Does that make sense?
Yeah, because we don't want it to search instantly when you type a K, right? Like maybe even just like 1/20th of a second. So what is that? 200 milliseconds? Is that right? Or 20 milliseconds? I don't know. But yeah, like because like people can type pretty quick, so just a slight delay on each letter would.
We have this minute elsewhere in the debounce. We have text fields, we have search fields that are debounce. And we need to, this needs to be applied to each text box individually. It can't be, applied across the board all at once.
Mhm.
But we have to identify what a reasonable delay is before we search. And the second part is we have to make sure that if we're using a lazy query, that we're killing any previous network calls.
That's what I was going to ask. Does each letter compound on top of the one before it and add up?
Yeah, that's
that explains a lot.
Mhm.
Yeah, so it's like
Yeah.
not just resetting the search, it's doubling up on it each time.
It is.
Aha. Okay, so how do we solve it, and who do we want to assign this to? Ismail or Amin, do you guys have experience? Which one of you did the last debounce?
I've added a few debounces. I can take care of this one.
Okay, cool. Will you work with Jerry on it? So Jerry, we don't.
I don't think backend needs to do anything. It's mainly front end.
Okay. What about Jerry? The fact that it's not resetting, like releasing the first one on each letter?
Well, that's part of the requirement. So I guess if Ismail said he's going to work with me, like, yeah, this isn't back end, but we just have to make sure that we are canceling any other network request before doing it.
Will you need to participate in that at all, or that's still all on him?
No, this is all 100% front end. Both of these issues are front end that we're going to go over, and they're the same issue.
Okay.
The next issue.
But wait, let's just wrap that one up. So I want to make it a top priority because it is weird. Like it can take 20 seconds for a search sometimes. Can you do you have any questions, Ismail, or do you
No, I know when it needs to be done.
Okay, but there's two spots. So there's when you're in a chat composition, or sorry,
yeah,
when you go to the members
and
yeah. That search. It's not. I don't think the chat. I think it should. We might have the debounce in the chat compose. I'm not sure. This one is the problem though, where you're editing your members and searching.
Okay, so that one and Spotlight is the ones we are aware of.
Spotlight people screen.
Yeah, I mean, how about this? I will go. I'm taking note of these, but I will also try to go throughout the app. I know there's a lot of places that need a debounce that don't have it. For example, if you're searching places or entertainment or stuff like that, it also needs a debounce there.
Okay.
So I'll add it in different spots. I'll prioritize these two, and I'll try to kind of see what I can find and try to add it as well there.
Perfect. Don't make the debounce too long, because I do like that it'll search pretty quick after a letter is typed.
Yeah, no, we just need to make it enough where do we give the user a chance to type in multiple letters to group a search. So like, I'll see what I did in the past, but I think something in the range of 300 milliseconds, even sometimes 400, depending on the speed of the query, could be reasonable.
Yeah, I like 300, a third of a second. Okay. And as far as making it clear out the last search, you know how to do that?
That one I haven't attended to do yet. I will see how that can be done with Apollo and if so. That one obviously with our current approach would have a lot more value, but after you add the debounce, I mean the cancel will still be sure it'll be good, but you would almost like
it would happen.
Yeah, it would happen very rarely where you have two like stacked up queries with the debounce. It really eliminates like like, yeah, it would be pretty much very rare, but I will still add it, I guess, if it's something that's safe and not too complex. Which I think it shouldn't be if Apollo has like some kind of built-in functionality, then yeah, we just need to add like probably a line or two of code.
It looks like what they were doing here. I don't know how straightforward this is. They're like, oh, just attach abort controller to it, and then you can call the abort method for a lazy query.
That's using a reference to abort control. Where does that come from? The abort control, or
Let's see. Um, where does this one come from? Oh,
the JavaScript thing?
yeah.
And what does it do? What does it do?
It just allows you to like call a signal to cancel the operation. So what you do is in your query, say your lazy query,
Yeah.
a signal, and then you could go and just call this abort method when you reset your query. I'll send you the Stack Overflow.
Interesting. Okay. Like I said, yeah, we can try it out, but with the debounce, I really think this would not be. I don't know. I feel like because with the debounce, if you add like a 3 or a 4 millisecond debounce, like the user probably stopped at that, and they'll see but yeah, okay, whatever. All I'm trying to say is is this gonna cause any problems maybe?
Yeah, we're gonna have to make sure we test this on an actual device, because that's where the issue seems to come up, is when you're on an actual physical device, because the simulators, whatever is in our debug configuration, it looks to just going over. Like it doesn't look to be affected when you're in a simulator.
This code you're talking about?
Yeah, like
the abort control?
Yeah, like, well, oh no, I was talking, whatever our fix is, we need to make sure we test it on the simulator, because if we go here, like I was saying, for the spotlight people screen, if you go here on your simulator and you type in Kevin, it's fast. It takes like 400 milliseconds, but on a device, it takes significantly longer, sometimes 10 times longer.
What does it have to do though? It's the API. Like, does the API itself take longer? You're saying?
No, for the same exact API.
No, but what I'm saying is, like, did you see the API response time, or is it something else?
Physical device, and I was on Wi-Fi. It doesn't seem coincidental that the API would only take long on my phone.
Like right now I'm on a test flight, and if I type Kevin, oh yeah, it did take, well,
yeah, go to test flight.
Yeah, let me see here. It is slow, you're right.
And that's because of the additional network calls that it's gonna have to make.
Oh wait, sorry, I had a typo in there. Okay.
I think it could be with the device threading that we're having multiple requests coming on.
Oh wait, no, that was quick. Sorry, I had a little typo, but no, that was fast. I take that back. That was pretty instant.
This was last night, like, for sure.
No, this is pretty instant. I don't think it has anything to do with device or simulator. Maybe the server was under some load.
No, because on my simulator it was fine.
Yeah, but right now, if you go to Epic Kevin and test flight, would it be slow?
In test flight, let's see.
Because I just tested it and it's
On dot
fine.
and let's go to add friends and we'll type Kevin. It is fine for me. It is fine for me right now.
Yeah. But the latest build is also QA.
No,
I don't know if you're on the latest or not.
I'm in .10, so that would be
Oh, that's prod, yeah. Yeah, I mean QA and prod looks like it's
my simulator. Yeah, my simulator is on production right now.
okay. Okay, let me see. I will add that debounce, and should we add the control, what it's called, abort control also as well, or do we want to try debounce only? And if it works, we
Come
get it.
first. But I think the abort control is also necessary to an extent.
Okay. Okay, then I'll add them to, are we gonna add them to all searches, or do you want to limit it to one just to like kind of test it first before all that work is done? Make sure there's no like side effects.
Maybe we try just the debounce first. Now, what was I going to? It depends on how we're calling the query. If we're using like a use query,
Mm-hmm.
it should be canceling the query for us. But if you're using a lazy query,
Mm-hmm.
then it's not.
Okay.
Get the extra network calls.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Also, sometimes it's easy to convert a used or a lazy query to use query and taking advantage of the skip.
Yeah, right. A use query and a skip like that. The use query is optimized for these types of things where we're typing and like we need to requery automatically when a state changes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I will see first of all if we can convert it to use query. If on a lot of these searches, if it's not already. And if we can, then I'll do that and add the debounce, and then we won't need the abort. But if it has to be a lazy, then I'll add the abort control to it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, about it right now?
Sorry, I interrupted. What were you saying, Jerry?
Oh, I was asking Ismail if he had any questions about what to do from.
No, I think I have a clear plan.
Okay. Cool. All right. Let's see. There was a couple things I've picked up on with the custom topics. First of all, is there an Android build for this one, Ismail?
Yeah, there should be both iOS and Android.
Okay, Chantel, will you test and Todd? There's an Android build, latest one with custom topics, and also uploading video content, images should be able to upload and navigate away and come back and things like that.
Yeah, there's a loader.
There's a loader now. So will you guys test that thoroughly for me today, please?
Yeah,
That's in dev, right? It's a dev environment.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
gonna be QA. And I
It
looked
auto
at the
updated for
tickets.
me.
What's that?
It auto updated for me.
Oh,
Huh.
yeah, I'm sure. But what I want to say is, I went through all the tickets you guys had, and I addressed them all. Is now one ticket that was if you click on like a custom topic, it navigates you to nowhere. Basically, that one I fixed it. I forgot it's not part of this build. I was trying to push it OTA right now to have that fixed, but I fixed that one. So you could you might still see it, but the OTA is giving me a problem. I mean, it keeps telling me it's running out of memory. Even though I thought we fixed that, but yeah, that all the other tickets should be fixed.
Okay. Do you need a means help on one of those?
No, I was just trying to push an OTA. But it was kept giving me it kept giving me an error saying like the GitHub ran out of memory or the Git whatever they're using with their servers. Which we fixed, but
You need to delete the cache. Is it like? Are you talking about GitHub actually?
I was talking about OTA. Trying to push OTA.
Yeah, through the GitHub action.
Oh yeah, the GitHub action. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Let me see. Cause I remember like I've seen it like a week ago too. It's like the cache like we're suppressing the limit.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
Also, just let me point something out real quick. Sorry. Just a couple things I noticed here on the topics. There's like an avatar up here. And then we got the placeholder image here for the custom topic.
Oh, yeah. So these are some stuff that I kind of mentioned before. So that's just the placeholder because it doesn't have an image, right? And it's using a place.
Yeah.
Remember how we're using a place topic card?
Yeah. Are you not able
So-
to get the gradient to show up earlier?
Well, that hasn't been generated yet because that gets generated after the API call. Up until now, there is no API calls.
Okay. Okay. So
So-
maybe you just need a different kind of placeholder image for now.
Yeah. Well, so you can either have a different placeholder, or we would need a different placeholder basically.
And it would go in both spots, right?
Yes.
Okay. So we'll just do one image and it'll show up in both.
Well, yeah. I will have to obviously code it differently, but yeah, it can show up there.
Okay.
Now that's one place. Another placeholder that I would need is we'll go ahead and go back to trying to create a topic
Okay.
to like the screen before that.
So
So just
Right.
try to create a new topic. Right there. See how we still have the that's the message for the event. I don't know if I keep it the same image, but I'll leave that to you.
what about a message for an event?
No, you see how we just have that message envelope there as a placeholder?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Right, as far as a topic, it could be a different image.
Yeah, I'm just saying if you want to change that, you can just send me an
Yeah,
image
actually, you
or a
remember,
Cloudinary link. But
you remember I think it was called Icon Scout that we use as third party for like 3D images. Maybe find something that would resemble a custom topic image that we can replace with that one. And then also we want a placeholder image for here instead of cityscape. So just something generic. It doesn't have to be, this is very detailed. It should be like probably real plain, kind of just a basic image. Also, I'm going to prolay this in real time, Ismail. So it was very slow after I hit.
yeah, that's the API generating that topic. Apparently, it takes a little bit.
See that?
Let me
Okay,
see
so I
if I can
hit
speed that up because it's generating an image.
That's a
Jerry,
long.
are you here? Let me see exactly how
Yeah.
long that takes.
So how long does it take to generate?
Let me give you an exact number
30
through the debugger. So just give me a second here.
three-ish seconds,
So let me create a topic here.
maybe 4.
Sound
Over 4.
ending. It takes 2.5 seconds to complete. And that would be create message V2 when we're creating a new topic. So do you think we can have that faster?
That's a good one. Let's see what we might be able to do. Because here's the thing: is that the image has to be made like before I send a response.
Correct, because we need the hash for and the image itself.
Correct. Correct. So we need all of that before you get the response.
Correct.
So that would be something I have to check in and make sure I don't violate any order of operation issues. Make sure I
Yeah, if it's not possible due to limitations from Cloudinary, because that's how we generate it.
That is true. You
Um,
also have to upload it to Cloudinary after. And
Yeah,
yeah, that's gonna be
so what I'm saying is if it's not possible to due to those limitations, maybe we consider adding some kind of a loader.
yeah, a loader possibly.
Like I can add that blur. Same thing that goes for when we're creating an event.
Yeah.
So say like when you click send, you'll just see a loader saying similar to the upload we had. You know that upload modal we had where it says sending. We'll just say creating topic if we want, because there might be limitations as Jerry mentioned because we need to generate the photo, upload it, get the hash of it. What do you think, John? I think John might have stepped away, but yeah, I guess Jerry, just look what you can do. If there's nothing, just let me know and I'll add a loader for now.
Yeah, I would say 2 seconds is probably the expected time. So you said you're getting like 2.5. Yeah, I'll see.
Sorry, I'm getting my.
I don't think it's I'm gonna get it to under 500 milliseconds, for example. Especially because we have to make that blur hash. There's a lot going in that pipeline.
Correct.
All right. What was the question you have for me?
I was just saying, I don't think we can get this one to be very, as Jerry mentioned, very responsive, like under 500, because we have to generate a photo, then we have to blur that photo, we have to upload it to Cloudinary. I was saying maybe we add a loader, kind of like the old media loading loader, just that blur saying creating topic for user.
Okay. I'm gonna try and drop from my laptop. I'm in my car. I'm not sure if it's gonna hang everybody up. Is Danny still here? No. My God. Let me try and hang up here.
We're still here.
Okay, good. It didn't hang everybody up. All right. So yeah, I gotta head out. What was what was our question?
I was just saying we are probably not going to have it under 2 seconds because of all our requirements in terms of uploading image and image blur and all that. So maybe I'll add a loader similar to, the one where it blurs the screen and you just say like creating topic.
Yeah, that would work.
What are we doing for events, Ismail?
I was gonna ask that same
Events, we
question.
don't have a preview card. When you click confirm, it just creates it. So it does show that blur saying creating an event, and then it just creates it.
Okay, so it does the same thing. It does show a blur,
It does show a blur, but it'll be on the previous screen, not on this one.
I get you.
Okay, then that'll work. Okay.
Hello. I can hear you, Amit. What's up?
I thought everyone went on mute. So I was thinking my minute is done.
Nope. It's just quiet.
Okay, okay.
I saw your two PRs and I merged them. Did you have anything else you want to give for an update?
Yes. So like yesterday, John told me to find the number of profile which has bad images. So today I have created a script and run that script. I found it total 455 profiles has bad images. So can I share my screen? I will show you.
Okay.
Missing image. I have put this CSV file. See, these profile key and image key, and I also added a link there. So that link. Can you see my screen?
Yeah. Yeah. What's bad with the images? Are they missing or are they in
So this
a format?
So see, what in the database image key is present, but in Cloudinary that image is not present. Like suppose we will go with this profile, I will show you here database.
Okay, I see where you're going. But do those profiles have any other images?
See here, this is image key showing at present. But that is not present. Let me check why is the reason. It's coming.
Wait, yeah, this is a new profile.
New profile. So might be some different format here. So no image available here. See, it's not present there.
But it was a new
It's
profile.
a new profile. Yes, 4/2/2025. That image key is not present. Saying
So-
if we'll go for this one, so
Now, why is it not present? This is a new profile that was created a month ago.
we need to check why it's like how it's possible.
Yeah, is this something you can redo in QA and maybe like delete the record and go over it again? And we need to add checks and make sure that the image is there before returning.
Yep, that I can do it. But I find the list here, the total number of here. See, these are the list. Total we have 455 profiles has bad images.
Yeah, when were these created? You have the dates that these were created?
No, this is when I run it. Not the when it's created. But if you will tell, I will capture the data also when it's created.
Yeah, because that first one was a new profile.
First one was a new profile, but this one is the old profile here. See, it's 3/2/2022.
Yeah.
So what we can approach profile?
Yeah, let's try and reproduce in QA and see if you can reproduce any errors. Yeah, some
Okay.
checks.
Okay. So what I will do, I will run in on QA and find it what for new profile. Why it's doing bad images.
Okay.
Okay. Yes. That's good.
Anything else?
No.
Cool deal. I'll go through my updates. Wrapping up on that reward admin. We added a new reward. I added a new reward to the store yesterday through it. Just a couple minor bugs. And worked with Amin on getting the deep links, the dynamic links working for iOS and Android, and also getting it ready for chat. Amin sent me something that was an issue with the deep linking for chat on seems on Android or maybe iOS as well. I think this is what Chantel's been reporting with the deep links, which is interesting because whenever I implemented this, it was working. Like I ran a negative test case. It's like if the chat link was invalid, you get stuck on a loader. I'll take a look at that and see if I can resolve it. But I'll be working on that in the chat admin today and anything we need to do with the dynamic links. Okay. Amin, you want to follow up? What's new?
Oh yeah. As Joe was saying, yesterday was all about like the universal link and the app links for Android. We got both of them working, iOS, Android for profiles and chat. And yeah, like the last thing that was we stopped on is like that issue where if like the invite code is invalid. So it's trying to navigate back to home, but it's not navigating due to React navigation is not finding that home screen. That means the home is not mounted, like it's not in the navigation state. That's why you could not find it. Or the home you're using, it's the wrong one because like we have home stack, and the home tabs. I'm not sure which one is like it should be using there. Maybe the home tabs. And yeah, that's where we stop. But that's not related to the universal link that we've been doing. It's all done and it's. I mean, the profile places it's merged. Like you can now go and test universal links for profile places. But the chats will be merged today. And in the next build we can test it as well. Yeah, that's all for me.
Cool deal. I'll do some testing on that too for the profile landing. Thanks. Wells, what's up?
Hey, Jerry. What did I miss?
Updates?
Sorry, can you repeat this?
Got any updates from your end?
Yeah, so thank you for providing me the endpoints. I am changing the implementation on that screen for using the API for bringing only friends and not friends and contacts. And right after that, I'll be integrating with that. And that I think will be the last thing missing for having this screen working.
Okay. So you're gonna have the PR up on it today?
Yes, sir. I think so.
Okay. Everything fine with the back end, like the endpoints, the mutations I gave you with that?
Yeah, so I didn't get to test that yet because since I'm listing friends and contacts, it was kind of hard for me to actually select only the users that have a user key for testing the API. So I will be changing that first. The hard part is being the search. But I will leave the current implementation I have with friends and contacts commented here. So in the near future, if we want to actually bring in the contacts as well, the code will already be here. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I will test that right as I get to implement the friends and search.
Okay. You know the query to use for friends, right? From yes, the friends tab?
Yeah, from the friends tab, I'm getting exactly from that.
Cool. Okay.
Awesome, sure. Thank you.
Yeah, anything else?
Nope, just that.
Cool. All right. Ismail, you want to go ahead?
Sure. So yesterday I continued working on just last touches for upload related to cache. After that, switched gear to, so there was problems with custom topics that there's a few tickets on Trello board. So I went through them one by one and pretty much addressed them all related to some duplicates, cache problems. And yeah, so overall, a lot of 90% of my time was literally kind of with cache, like properly updating it, make sure it's not replacing or making sure it's replaced with the mutation after the mutation gives a response. Because apparently there was a problem with that. So what we were seeing is you would get the optimistic response, but once the mutation gives you back the real data, it wasn't being replaced properly. So I made sure that was the case because that was needed for upload, especially if you leave the chat and then come back when it's still uploading, you would not see the photo that just got uploaded because it was only depending on the optimistic response, which by now is gone because you went to the lobby. So yeah, a little tricky there, but I think I addressed all cache issues related to chat. So that's why Chantel and other QA testers, please pay attention to the chat cache overall. Make sure there's no problems. Make sure it's still behaving the way we expect it to, because there's a good amount of work done.
So what do you mean by the chat cache?
So in general, just like when you're sending messages through chat without going to the lobby. So like whether that's creating topics, sending messages in topics, sending photos, anything related to just using the chat but relying on the cache. So basically in the same chat set, well, without going like, so if you go to the lobby and then back to the, let's say you're in a group chat, you go back to the lobby and then back into the chat, that would reset the cache.
Mm-hmm.
So you'd be looking at a lot like data from the query. But if you stay in the same chat group, or whether it's a one-on-one or a group chat, you're pretty much working with the cache more than you are with the query. And that's from optimistic response and the mutation response. You're not really relying on the query response because we're not calling the query. So that's where I want to make sure that you like stay in the same chat you're in and create topics, send messages, receive messages, that kind of stuff.
And maybe we should do that while uploading multimedia, correct?
Yes, you can. But what will happen is, as I mentioned, anything sent before the upload is done will be first.
Mm-hmm.
And the cache should reflect that as well.
I see. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you checked like with doing big uploads and like leaving the group, going back to the lobby, going elsewhere in the app, like does the upload continue? Let's say you get out of the chat stack and you go to like check in.
It does continue.
Okay.
It does. It does, and I have a global state to keep track of the loader so that you don't lose your because like when you come back, well, the loader, the global state does two things. It keeps track of the loader and it keeps track of what group the loader should show on, because you don't want to show in all group chats. You just want to show on the one that is actually like pending for the image or video. So it does. The only thing I haven't tested is, honestly thinking about it now, is closing the app altogether, which I think will kill it.
Yeah, there's a lot of edge cases that's kind of really poking around the asynchronous upload, and I know, like, yeah, uploading an image would that would, if the image failed to, if you close the app, yeah, the image wouldn't upload and it would never send. Now, what if you like went into a chat, you had a spotty connection, but let's say you uploaded a decently long video, you went into a different group, and then you uploaded that same video. So now you have two uploads going in two different chats.
Mm-hmm.
That gets stacked fine?
Because can't say I've tried it. I didn't try that specific test, but I don't see why it shouldn't be. Like, in terms of, there should be two API calls running at the same time, and the global state keeps track of but wait, we only have one global state, which is not an array, so that's a good point. Because it would probably reflect the latest upload, but it won't reflect the one before it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, look into that. And do you know if John or Chantel ever got back on the idea of like using a sound when you said?
No, I didn't hear back on that just yet. I know what you're referring to.
Mm-hmm.
Sound on what?
So whenever you send a message, so if you're sending a multimedia, how like on iMessage, it has that poop, like it's a poop whenever you,
Yeah.
I was wondering if it would be a good idea to have that audible feedback whenever a multimedia finishes uploading.
I am going to say that I think that John will have specific views on that.
Yeah, I want to get his feedback on that as well. And like,
Yeah.
for example, what if you're like checking in and your image fails, or just saying that it could fails or succeeds to upload? How do we want to notify the user that maybe we're waiting for a video to upload and we go do other stuff in the app? Then when it succeeds, we want to know that it succeeded. I'm almost thinking like even like a toast or something.
Yeah.
I would like, I feel like like a visual or an auditory feedback would be like, I keep my phone on silent, so sounds would do that.
Well, I think if they're outside the chat, we shouldn't worry about updating them. But if they're inside, then the loader will update them. So like maybe we will only update them if it fails, not if it necessarily succeeds.
Interesting. I saw a loader when I was uploading a video just now.
What do you mean a loader?
It was at the bottom. It was like
Yeah, that's the new asynchronous upload.
yeah. So how is that different than what you guys are talking about? I mean, other than the obvious auditory part of it, I understand that.
No, he was just saying if it fails, we're now we don't tell
got it.
the user. Yeah. So I was telling him if it succeeds, I don't think we need any toast or anything. Because also
Yeah.
if you're outside the chat while it's loading, so I was saying if it succeeds, it just succeeds. That's fine. But if it fails, maybe we show a toast.
Yeah. I kind of like the idea of the toast.
Okay.
But yeah, I can work on those.
Did John have to head off for a few minutes?
Yeah, I think he's driving.
Oh.
I'm here, yeah, I'm driving. Did we get all the updates? I had some trouble getting connected on this test phone, but finally got it.
Yeah, we ran through everyone's updates. Just had a question for you about like feedback for the user when doing asynchronous upload. Like if, let's say they upload a video and then they leave the group and they're going other places in the app, what would we like to do? Let's say if that image either fails to upload or it succeeds to upload. We were thinking maybe like a toast.
Definitely if it fails. Let's test it a lot and see what it feels like. If there's any spots that feel confusing, feel like you're left hanging in some way. So, yeah, just test it, see what that reveals. And then, where are we going next here? I have some things I want to look at, but Ismail, what do you have going on next?
Well, I'm gonna be working on adding the delays for the search.
That's right. The debounce, right?
The debounce, and also one thing Jerry brought up is when uploading, or if we're uploading like multiple videos and multiple chats.
Yeah.
How are we gonna handle that? So
Okay.
something.
Are you gonna look into that?
Yeah.
Okay. I saw in a session replay, the drawer we're using now for that one friend connect route with the emojis on it. I saw a user trying to swipe down on the drawer. How much effort would it be if, let's say, a user did swipe down on the drawer? Evidently, they didn't see the skip button, but let's say they swiped down on the drawer and there was like an X underneath it, or a not now or something. Is that pretty straightforward? It'll basically be another skip.
That shouldn't be too bad.
Okay. Could you make a note to do that? Like, I think people think, it does look like a drawer. It is a drawer in a sense. So, what happened is this particular user closed the app. It was a new user and closed the app on that screen. I think probably not realizing there's a skip button, I guess. Yeah, if the drawer went down.
Yeah, just let me know exactly what you want under, or we can have the actual action of the drawer do the skip, but I don't want that.
No, because they might want to bring it back up.
Yeah.
Which also means it would have to come down partially.
Well, that one's the tricky part. It doesn't necessarily have that functionality.
Right.
Yeah.
Because yeah, that would be ideal. Is like if it didn't go all the way down.
And that's all purpose we made it not scrollable because we can't bring it back up.
Right.
Unless there's a
Okay, well-
button like a chevron pointing up, you press it, it'll bring it back up.
I see. Perhaps.
But if we want to do those things, I just need a design to know exactly what icon to use, the sizing, the positioning, if we're going to use the X, all that stuff.
Well, let's keep it on ice for now then. Let me think about that a little more. Maybe it was a one-off. Maybe it'll be very rare. I mean, there still is a skip.
If they're trying to go to the next screen, I'm sure they'll eventually find that skip if they're looking for it.
You would think.
Why was he just stuck? Did he end up closing the whole app or what happened?
Yeah, close the app and I don't think return.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's people. It's hard to grab people's attention, and So, all right, let me think about that a little bit, and I'll let you know.
Okay.
Okay. All right, I'm walking in. I'm a little bit late actually. So, but lastly, I mean, what are you working on today?
I'll be looking into like the UI issues like you sent me. Didn't get a chance to work on them. Like once the one I remember, like you asked me to do the changes for Start Convo, the same as we have for Shadow Love.
Oh, that's right. Yep.
Yeah, and also I'm not sure if Wells did fix the jump. Yeah, we fixed the jumping for the create group screen, but I'm not sure if he like fixed the space in there. If it's all fixed there, then that's good.
You're talking about the skip?
Yeah, skip.
Um,
That create group screen. Cool looking.
yeah, so I think what we did prevented the jumping and also increased the tappable area.
Okay.
That will come on the PR for the send separately suggestions is ready. I'm almost there. Also, I mean, by the way, since you're here, mind if I show you something like some weird behavior and we can perhaps you have an idea on why is that happening?
Yeah, sure. Let me just finish like what I'm up to today.
Okay.
And so yeah, it's gonna be that UI change for the Shadow Love, and also like Jerry sent me like a bug that should be fixed. Like if you are in Discovery feed and you're scrolling, once your location got picked up, you'll get back to the top of the list again. I'm sure I fixed that, but I'm not sure why it's happening again. So I'll look into it and see how I can reproduce it. Because it should be fixed. I'm not sure why it's not there. Maybe it's
Jerry was able to reproduce it as it looked like it was directly related to fetching the location.
yeah, and I know I fixed it, but yeah, I'll look into it again, see what's going on there.
Okay.
And yeah, that would be it. Besides that,
How would you test the dynamic links? That's in this build, right?
yeah, for profile places, yeah. Just
Yeah.
you need to scan the QR code for a place.
Okay. Hey, Jerry, would you work with Chantel and maybe Amin if necessary on testing those dynamic links?
Yeah. I mean, were you working on the one for the home navigation? You still want me to look into that? I mean, I can look into the home navigation, but that's what was on my list.
I can look into it too. Like I don't have tasks to do, but like if
Okay.
you know But I can look into it. It's like a navigation issue. Yeah.
Yeah, let me load up, .11 and we'll try with some QR codes.
Okay.
Cool, thanks, guys. All right, well, sounds good. I gotta drop. I just got to the office. Just keep me posted. We'll keep in touch. Talk soon.
All right, cool deal.
Okay, thanks, everybody. Have a good one.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Wells, if you wanna you're gonna stay here. So
Yeah, sure, let's see.
okay.
Yeah, so can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah, so I have this list of users here, and I have the option of adding another friend here. So when I search and select and hit done, it should appear on the list. But it creates this space here and gets the item all the way below. And weird enough, if I like select someone else and I try like excluding this one, there is a possibility of, oh, it didn't happen here, but there's a possibility of it clipping.
I see what's
Yeah.
going on. Maybe you add in empty items to the list that renders there. So it's like you see on
Huh. See? It clipped over an item that was there already also.
my first suspect is like you add in empty items to a list. Like, did you try to inspect the list, the state that keeps track
Yeah.
of lists?
So the list is like this, and I tried adding this new item also.
No, this is when it's working. Like, no, when it's not. Like when you see empty stuff. Like when you see this space, like the empty space.
Yeah, I gotta like that also. But that's weird. 'Cause, like that would having empty items would explain the space, but the clipping, like, why would this happen?
Oh, do you see that? Like there is this. Oh,
I hover it like this. So if I hover it and you can see there is an item below it.
yeah, the two stacks. I will need to look into the styling, like what you're doing in the styling there. I don't have an idea. Are you doing styling with any absolutes? Like you applying absolute?
No, this is basically like a flash list, and this is an item.
Is it with the new animation? Like
Nope, no
Yeah.
animation, just the flash list. So
okay, let me see what's going on there.
let me. So this is the flash list.
Mm-hmm.
There's another friend thing here is like the footer. And then there is the render item.
I'm not sure what's going on there for you. Like why they're stacking? They should not be.
Yeah, not sure.
I think why it's because was happening after you had that issue where there was like an empty space. Now you try to add another one and both of them stacked. So I think this issue you're having right now where they stack it will not happen if you fix the first one where it's like empty space. Because it seems this is like
Yeah, I will have to change completely the way these items are being get here and where they're coming from. So perhaps that fixes it also. It's better to work on that first. But yeah, thank you, sir.
No worries.
I'll be dropping here also.
Okay, me too.
Take care.
Okay. Thanks.